What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the R.O.A.M podcast. And I just want to say this. What the hell is Joe Biden doing? Sticking up for his meth head son, Hunter. And what the frig is wrong with Hunter? You're gonna leave 3 computers at a computer store and never come back. Now, the computer store owner opens them up because they're now his, because your dumbass left them there with all the information on it. And now the guy opens it up, finds all that information that's gonna screw your father. But Twitter, not the Biden administration, but Twitter comes out and says, why Twitter banned that information from the New York Post is because it's a lie. Okay, it's a lie. But they're Hunter's computers, Hunter's emails, Hunter's email. Oh, get the frick. If you believe that, then please go to the highest point and trip over a rock. All right? I'm not saying nothing else. Let's get right into it. You'll never look at America the same again, because I'm not. When we're being silenced on a daily basis, that's attacking our First Amendment. So we just had a real life Karen.
That the president said that's been sticking in my mind since last week. When people first started asking him about this idea, this conversation with Zelensky, he said, keep on climbing basically up this ladder of this story because you're going to fall a long way when the truth comes out. And there's a little piece of me that's wondering if this is all orchestrated to bring everybody down.
Yeah, so I cut it short. He was trying, the last word was bring everybody down. But let's go through what I found, and it's from Allegiance to Liberty. The owner of the computer repair shop said that Hunter Biden's laptops, there were 3, were dropped off at his shop in April of 2019. He was only able to salvage 1 of the 3 laptops and waited for it to be picked up. Okay, now I got some more. All right, so you might be asking, how did this computer store owner have the right to open these computers? So here it is. After no one came to pick up in 90 days, per the contract, which there was a contract, and after 90 days it becomes his if nobody claims it. The laptops and everything stored in on them were legally the property of the store owner. Legally. Now this guy, I'm going to get into it some more. I have some more from this lady. Check it out. So according to the shop owner, he began searching keywords in June or July of 2019, which is when he found the compromising material. In September 2019, he contacted an intermediary who then contacted the FBI. The FBI made copies of everything and later seized the laptops. But the shop owner took copies of the hard drive. So that's why we didn't hear nothing. We didn't hear nothing about it. The FBI wanted to hold on to this. Okay, check it out. So the FBI had this information in September 2019, which is the exact same time when President Trump said, keep on climbing up this ladder because you're gonna fall a long way when the truth comes out. And guess what? The truth is finally coming out. I'm gonna keep on reading what this lady put out there. The information is damning. I'm telling you right now. Watch what happens to Biden. The brilliance of Trump has come to fruition yet again. He sat on info he knew could potentially destroy Biden in order to release it in a manner that would inflict maximum damage to an already failing campaign, and it worked flawlessly. And guess what is funny, though? The FBI still didn't release it. It took the computer shop owner to go to Giuliani's office, Mayor Giuliani, and then Giuliani released it to Fox News and New York Post. Twitter says it banned New York Post articles about Hunter Biden for violating its policies against doxing and sharing hacked materials. But the funny part is, it's not hacked material. The shop owner opened the laptops with no hack. It was just on the laptop and released it. So, yet again, another instance how Twitter and Facebook are ran by the left. Whatever the left says, Twitter and Facebook goes ahead and does it. I got banned from TikTok. A lot of my posts on Twitter get banned. A lot of my friends get banned on Twitter. I think I see a lot of good stuff on Instagram. I can't say anything bad about Instagram. But Twitter saying they blocked the New York Post, one of the biggest media stations out there, one of the biggest media outlets out there. You're going to block them for giving the truth. That's what I'm saying, people. This is why I'm doing this, people. I want more and more people to see what the hell's going on. That's why I try to put everything in order. Not just a bit here and talk about it. I try to grab a bunch and just show you. Look, 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just keep going. Because we are being ran and we're being manipulated. They're trying to alter our thought patterns, okay? They're trying to say, America, if you're white and you're American, you're a racist. If you're voting for Donald Trump, you shouldn't. But if you are, you're a racist. You're gonna try to make me believe that I'm a racist. No one knows yourself better than you. I'm not a racist. You're not a racist. And if you are a racist and you're voting for Donald Trump, well, that's on you. And thank you for voting for Donald Trump, but he is not a racist. His father might have been a racist, yes. But Donald Trump is not. Biden is. That guy is the most corrupt piece of crap in American history, in American politics, bigger than Hillary, even though they're all connected. Now, I want to show you something that Donald Trump's son came out yesterday and posted. It's crazy. Now, it's not an ad. It does help Donald Trump, but he's going to help explain it a little more details. Check it out.
The Biden family is the most corrupt political family in American history. I can prove it. Joe Biden is terrified that you are about to hear the truth. I'm Donald Trump Jr. I'm the son of the President of the United States. I understand the pressure of being a prominent member of the first family. Trust me, I've gone through it all. That's why I can say with absolute confidence that Joe Biden's son, Hunter, is one of the most unethical humans in political history. Let me say first that I'm not here to attack Hunter Biden on his personal issues. I don't want to talk about how Hunter Biden was discharged from the Navy Reserve for testing positive for cocaine. I won't do that. I will not bring up Hunter Biden fathering a child with a sex worker at the same time he was dating his late brother's wife and then refusing to pay child support until a court ordered him to. The corruption in Hunter Biden extends beyond ethical concerns. It's potentially criminal. Don't just take my word for it. The U.S. Senate recently released an in-depth investigation into the Biden family corruption. You may not have heard about it because our media is actively trying to cover it up. Here's what they found. Hunter Biden leveraged his father's political power to sell out the United States of America to our enemies and enrich himself and the Biden family. Hunter Biden used Air Force Two to travel to China with his father for business meetings with top communist Chinese officials. Hunter founded and sat on the board of a private equity firm that raised $1.5 billion from the Chinese government via the state-owned Bank of China. Hunter was involved with communist Chinese nationalists who gave the Bidens millions in exchange for access to American companies that produced technology with our military. In 2014, Vice President Joe Biden took the lead on policy in the Ukraine. At the same time, Hunter Biden joined the board of a Ukrainian energy company where he made $83,000 a month. Around the same time that a Ukrainian prosecutor began an investigation into the levels of corruption at Hunter Biden's company, Joe Biden was threatening to withhold U.S. aid to Ukraine if that very prosecutor was not immediately fired from his job. The prosecutor was fired. In a speech to the Council on Foreign Relations, Joe Biden actually bragged about how he got that prosecutor fired by effectively blackmailing the Ukrainian government with taxpayer money.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
But Ukraine and China are just the beginning of the Biden family corruption. My father and I were famously investigated for Russia collusion. We, of course, did not collude with Russia and were fully exonerated. But do you know who was bought and paid for by the Kremlin? Hunter Biden. In 2014, Hunter Biden received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Elena Buchniera, the wife of the former mayor of Moscow, who also happened to be one of Vladimir Putin's closest associates. Horrifyingly, according to a report from the U.S. Senate, Hunter Biden paid off women from Russia and other Eastern European countries that are directly linked to prostitution and human trafficking rings. It's not just Hunter getting rich off of Joe Biden's connections. Joe Biden's brother, James Biden, launched a healthcare company, AmeriCorps, that was later raided by the FBI after he fraudulently transferred over $500,000 from the company into his own bank account. James Biden also joined Hillstone International to secure a contract to build 100,000 homes in Iraq. Minor details. He'd never built a home in his life before. Maybe this is why everyone in the Biden family seems to have gotten filthy rich off of Joe's public service. Joe and Jill Biden have an estimated net worth of over $9 million. Hunter Biden and Jim, do you know what the fees are on just an investment of $1.5 billion like the one they took from China? In a typical fund, there's a 2% fee structure and 20% of the profits. The 2% fee of $1.5 billion is $30 million a year from the Chinese government. Quite a bankroll for regular old Scranton Joe and his working class family. The dark and complex interlacings of corruption within the Biden family has now been exposed with this incriminating investigation by the United States Senate. Did the Bidens' financial entanglements impact U.S. foreign policy? Of course they did. But did they care? Of course not. That was the plan all along. The Bidens didn't care about putting American national security at risk with criminal conduct and threats of extortion. They cared about getting rich off their public office. Fortunately, Americans are waking up, and they're not going to give the corrupt Bidens public office. We need someone who will put the interests of the American people over the interests of themselves. And that person is my father, Donald J. Trump. Without a doubt, the Biden family is the most corrupt family in American history. Let's end their corruption once and for all in November.
You see that? Now that is some craziness, right? Now if Donald Trump did any of those things like they tried to do, you know, that little thing called quid pro quo, they tried to impeach our president for, and it was all a hoax. It was all a lie. Well, guess what? You just saw it for yourself. Joe Biden actually did that when he was VP. And what, you think Obama did none of these things? He didn't know anything? Get real, people. Like, come on. Donald Trump is fighting for the American people every day. He takes pretty much nothing to be a president. He could sit home without being a president, making millions of dollars. Instead, he becomes our president, fights for the people, his name gets smashed, put into the dirt, his whole family being ridiculed, spit on, chased, and probably, like what I've heard, there's a lot of hits on his life. And I'm sure his family too. If he had the regular Secret Service, the little thing that happened in 1965, 1964 with JFK, I'm sure that would have happened. He's got to stay low, keep his head low, And I want to quickly say this. The whole thing about him being a homophobic, he hates gays, hates the LGBTQ. Even my stepdaughter, I'm not going to say her name, I don't want to put her name out there. She's great, she's awesome, she's very smart, very, very smart. She's my daughter. Don't matter about the step, she's my daughter. But she likes to go the other way. Now, I think she's still too young. 14 years old, thinks that she wants nothing to do with men. Now, a lot of men out there are scumbags. Yes, they really are. They don't treat women right, they cheat, but the same thing goes for women. They do the same exact thing. But she is convinced that Joe Biden is the best president for the LGBTQ. And I keep trying to say, no, he's not. And you shouldn't even just look at that one thing. Okay? Even if Donald Trump was against gays, you still are American. You still have to live here. Right? Well, Donald Trump is not against gays. There's a bunch of gays for Trump, LGBTQ, and he did come out with a law that actually passed, and went through the Supreme Court. They passed it, that the transgenders aren't allowed to be in the military. Well, that's not totally true. That's not how the bill is passed. That's not what the bill says. It says if you want the surgery, you have to pay a percentage of it, and you can sign up for the military and get into the military 5 years or so after your surgery. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Here. Are trans people more at risk of suicide? Trans people are more at risk of suicide than heterosexual people and lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. Studies and surveys have shown many transgender people have thought about and attempted suicide. And previous suicidal behaviors such as these are the most reliable indicators of future suicide risk. And here's some more. Transgender people also experience mental illness at significantly higher rates than the general population. This heightened risk is primarily due to the fact that transgender people face unique stressors, including stress from being part of the minority group, as well as stress related to not identifying with one's biological sex. If left untreated, these mental health disorders can also be indicators for suicide risk. And everybody knows being a vet comes with consequences. So here we go. Mental illnesses include depression, anxiety, excessive alcohol and or drug use, stigma, isolation, excessive to lethal means, firearms, prescription drugs. And here's some more. Experience of discrimination, transphobia in the form of physical and verbal harassment, physical or sexual assault. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm against LGBTQ, transgender, the whole nine, binary, whatever, non-binary, I'm not against it. But I'm just showing you just a few mental illnesses and problems that come along with being transgender. You have mental illnesses. Now, I'm not saying 100% of the military, that not even before you're military, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, a lot of them, not a lot, but a good amount, sign up for war just to kill or just to be able to carry a firearm. But a lot of the people that go in there are true patriots that want to serve and protect our country and protect those that live within our country. But the transgender, not saying that they don't feel that way, but like I just read, that is a survey taken by a recognized mental institution. These people do these studies, and that's what's wrong. So, you're telling me the people that went to Iraq that's not transgender, just regular people, like I said, patriots that went over there to protect the United States and our beliefs, didn't come home with problems, didn't come home and commit suicide, didn't come home and with PTSD and commit suicide, like I just said. Now, just imagine you're transgender with these same problems, mental illnesses. You're already at risk of suicide, and you go over there and you come back. All Donald Trump is trying to do is protect them and to lower the risk of suicide with the vets coming home. That's one of the major things that he ran on before he became president, to help the vets. Now, I'm going to show you a clip from a gay man that is for Donald Trump telling somebody some facts, like I'm doing. Check this out.
Because the LGBT wants to see themselves as the victim. They've wanted to see themselves as the victim for a long time. So they willingly choose not to listen to the facts, like the fact that he doesn't hate transgender people. Right. He just made it so that you have to wait 5 years after you transition before you serve. That makes sense. He didn't ban the flying of the pride flag at the embassies. He only said it cannot fly on the central pole, which is reserved for the American flag. Yeah. There's no other flag that should be flying.
Now, if I was there, I would shake that man's hand. Might even give him a hug, because I love people that spit fact. Now, they literally want to fly the gay flag at the embassies. That flag does not represent nothing besides a type of person. The American flag represents the United States, a country, and the people that live within the country, even gays, even transgender. You don't have to change our flag at the embassies or anywhere else just to show, hey, I'm here. Hey, you don't have to do that. We know you're here. You're loud enough. God dang. Now, I want to show you something that blew my mind. Joe Biden was asked a question. Now, obviously, it was staged. They got a woman saying, my children, an 8-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid, my children want to change their sex. Children. Now, my children, I got 3. Well, 4. I got 4 children. 3 girls, 1 boy. One of them is literally, she's autistic. My stepdaughter's autistic. And like I said, my 14-year-old is, she likes girls. No problem. But she don't want to change her sex. Now, my 6-year-old, that's like saying my stepdaughter coming up to me and saying, Daddy, I want to change my sex to a boy because I feel like a boy. But you know what she does? She comes up to me and she thinks she's a dog sometimes. Literally. My nieces, my niece thought she was a dragon for 2 years. A dragon. So if she came up to her dad and mom and said, Mom, I want to change my gender to a dragon, and you say yes, go, you have a mental illness. If you tell your 8-year-old kid and you bring them to the doctors to change their sex at 8 years old, there is something wrong with you. Those children need to be taken away from you, and then you need to prove that you're stable enough to take care of those children. Because no child that does not know what they are in life yet. That's why you go through school. That's why you're a child, right? Then a teenager, and then you're an adult, because you can make adult decisions. A male doesn't, his brain isn't developed fully until like his 20s or something like that. Like, you're telling me an 8-year-old child can choose whether or not he wants to be a woman or a woman or a man? Or a dragon? Or a fish? And you're going to go right ahead and do that? Now, if you love your child, that's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. But you should not be in charge of that child. You should not be able to make any decisions for that child. If you're going to change the sex of an 8-year-old child, it's not happening, dude. That's crazy to me. But if I'm walking down the street and my kids don't have a friggin' mask on, they're going, what, the cops have all the rights in the world to take my child away because what? I told them they don't have to wear a mask? But I'm a bad parent? What? But you can change the sex of an 8-year-old? Get the frig out. I'm good with that. So here we go. I'm going to show you Joe Biden telling this woman. Just listen what he says.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm the proud mom of 2 girls, 8 and 10. My youngest daughter is transgender. The Trump administration has attacked the rights of transgender people, banning them from military service, weakening non-discrimination protections, and even removing the word transgender from some government websites. How will you, as president, reverse this dangerous and discriminatory agenda and ensure that the lives and rights of LGBTQ people are protected under U.S. law?
I will flat out just change the law. Eliminate those executive orders, number one. You may recall, I'm the guy who said, I was raised by a man who, I remember I was being dropped off. My dad was a high school educated, well-read man who was a really decent guy, and I was being dropped off to get an application in the center of our city, Wilmington, Delaware, the corporate capital of the world at the time. And these 2 men, I'm getting out to get an application to be a lifeguard in the African-American community because there was a big swimming pool complex. And these 2 men, well-dressed, leaned up and hugged one another and kissed one another. I'm getting out of the car at the light, and I turned to my dad. My dad looked at me and said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other. The idea that an 8-year-old child or a 10-year-old child decides, I decided I want to be transgender. That's what I think I'd like to be. It'll make my life a lot easier. There should be zero discrimination. And what's happening is too many transgender women of color are being murdered. They're being murdered. I mean, I think it's up to now 17. Don't hold me to that number, but it's higher now.
Yeah.
And that's just this year. And so I promise you, there is no reason to suggest that there should be any right denied your daughter or daughters, whichever, if one or two, one, your daughter, that your other daughter has a right to be and do. None. Zero. And by the way, my son Bo passed away, was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware. He was the guy who got the first transgender law passed in the state of Delaware, and because of a young man who became a woman who worked for him in the Attorney General's office.
I've got one more.
Yes. So for all you undecided people, that's the guy you want as your president? He barely answered the question correctly. And no transgender, no other color transgender is being killed in the streets. You know who's being killed? White people. Those are the ones being killed in the street. Now, the black community members that have a felony, which they're having a firearm on them, a knife on them, that are attacking the police, they're not obeying the order that the police is giving them. Those people that are being killed are not transgender. Those are felons with guns, knives, and not obeying a direct order from a law enforcement. Now, if a cop pulled me over and just reached for his gun and say, hey, get the hell on the ground, guess what I'm going to do? Even though I didn't do anything wrong, I'm getting on the ground. We could take that up in court. No, they're fighting the cops. That's why they're getting killed. Now, this guy didn't even answer the question correctly. This lady's nuts. Talking about her children like that? You're going to change the sex of your child. So when it's an adult, it's like, why did my mother do that to me? Because that, children hold resentment when the mother or the father do something wrong in the child's life. When they grow up and notice that, they're like, wow, my mother and father did not force me to go to school. Now I'm a loser. Just like that. No, that's a big change. That's like giving an 8-year-old a tattoo of thug life. The kid grows up and he's a nerd. It's like, yeah, my mom and dad gave me a Thug Life tattoo on my chest, and I hate Tupac. You know, it's just something like that. That's what I'm talking. It's something even bigger than that. That's some surgery on vaginal areas, okay? And you're talking an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old child you're going to do that to? You're crazy. You're crazy. That's what our country's going through. It started with Obama taking away Thanksgiving, taking away Christmas, taking away God out of schools, attacking our flag. Now they're literally attacking our flag, burning it, spitting on it, saying F America, and we're supposed to just sit here idly with our mouth closed, doing nothing about that. No. You know why? If you're attacking our flag, that's attacking our country. That flag means something. It means something to me. No, I never fought in a war. Would I sign up? Yes, I tried. I messed up in my life when I was younger. Unable to go. But I still love the men and women that fight for the right to be an American. Because if it wasn't for them, just think how our country would be right now. I'm going to leave you with that. God bless. Stay true, America. Backflip and drop kick that bell for my next video. And trust me, you're going to want that gift I'm going to give you. I got to reach 1,000 followers. I had 30,000+ people. They took that from me. I got to get back up there. God bless. Stay true. Like I said, get that bell. Like, share, subscribe. Leave it in the comments below. God bless. Stay true. You'll never look at America the same again, because I'm not. When we're being silenced on a daily